Hi, it's Oa and welcome back to my channel for another video. And today I am going to be sharing with you guys my August plan with me and my bullet journal. And my theme is tropical fruit cows, which is kind of a unique theme. I found it back, I think in 2020 with another fruit, and I just decided to make it with tropical fruits this time. For my supplies, I'm using a notebook from Amazon, and all of my supplies will be listed in the description box down below. So if you'd like to use any of my supplies, go check that in the description. For my fine liners, I'm using a Faber Castel Pitt artist pens in many different sizes to get different results when I draw. And then for the colors, I use Tombow dual brush markers. And if you are interested in a particular spread, I will leave timestamps in the description box down below, so you can just skip ahead to the part that you are interested in. And if you want to see all of the pages once they are all done, there will be a flip through at the end of this video. So the first thing that I'm going to say is that this journal, I'm using it as my secondary journal, and I use it for making videos only. I don't actually use these pages. I use them as reference to make digital versions for my small business, but I will also share my personal pages in a separate video. But just so that you are aware, I'm not actually using these pages. I just make them kind of for fun and to have a reference. And then now I'm making the cover page, and for the cover I decided to go with two of the little cow doodles, which I found off of Pinterest. I just looked up cute cow doodles to find a reference image, and then around it I added some fruits. I have pineapples, kiwis, and watermelons, and it's the three sort of fruits that are in the cows as well. And I basically just started by outlining everything, which was pretty easy to do once I had drawn everything in pencil. And then I just colored in all the fruits, starting with the kiwis. I drew them with a line of brown on the outer layer, and then leaving a blank spot in the middle, I filled in the rest in green. The pineapple has two shades of yellow, a darker one and a really light one in the center. And then obviously there's a pink and a green for the watermelon. And I used the same colors for coloring the cows. I chose the colors based on which fruit they were with, and I just drew kind of like a fruit on top of the head of the cow, and then I drew the colors of the spots accordingly, and I just think they're so cute. I really love them. And before we go any further in this video, I wanted to show you guys what these pages that I'm doing for this video are going to be used for. So here is my small business. It is Oa's Planner Shop, and I make digital bullet journals so that you can get yourself a bullet journal that you can use either digitally or print yourself at home, and you don't have to make all of the pages yourself, because I know that it can be really intimidating and it can be a lot to actually make. So I make all of the pages myself, and I make them by hand, and then I have my website where I sell them, and I made the versions for August. I have 3 different versions with the same theme that I have for this video, with the tropical fruit cows, and I also have a non-colored version if you are interested. So you can choose all of the colors and you can personalize your own pages. And I also have a undated version that doesn't have the word August anywhere on it, so it can be used for any month. And I have all of my previous themes as well on my website and also on my Etsy shop, so check the link in the description box down below if you are interested. I also have last year's pages for August, so if you want a watermelon or kiwinade theme, then these pages are also on there. And lastly, there is something new that I'd like to announce. If you haven't seen my post, I have started a Patreon account, and if you'd like to have every month the digital planner for free, you can sign up for the last tier, which is the small business support tier, and you will receive every single month the digital planner for that month. And you will also be able to help me on my small business journey and on becoming more independent. I will leave the link in the description box down below. There's also smaller tiers if you just want more content or just to support me and help me in my journey. And that is all for right now. I will leave you with the rest of this video. The next page in this monthly setup is the calendar spread, which is a really different layout from what I normally do, but I feel like this is a really good layout that's going to be really easy to use and also to make. I basically drew the entire outline of the calendar first in black. On the left page, it is 20 by 25 dot grid spaces, and then 15 by 20 on the right side of the page, so that there's the full month, knowing that the calendar is for August. And then I separated each row with a line, which is a brown line, and they are all each 5 dot grid spaces tall, and then each day is separated by a dot of color, and they are each 5 dot grid spaces wide, so that's like the entire calendar. So it's really simple to make. And then basically the rest of it is decoration, as well as on the right side a goal section, which can also be for any other things like a to-do list or any other things like that. I also added the title at the top of the page on the left side, and then I'm drawing some fruits on the side. For the watermelon, I decided to have the two colors and always leave a white line in between the green and the purple and the pink to make it more realistic. And then I have a whole pineapple that is kind of cut, which was the most kind of like challenging doodles to make. Then I had a kiwi and a pineapple ring, and then I'm making a kiwi fruit cow. And for this one, you can see that there's the kiwi at the top of the head and also a tiny one at the bottom of the tail. And then for the colors, I used the brown for all the markings, and then a really light pink for like the nose and mouth areas, as well as the inside of the ears, and then some black for the like eyes. But overall, I kept it like really simple, and I really wanted them to look like super cute, so I kept all the shapes really round, and I have some that are seated, some that are standing. The pineapple one in the bottom, which went really fast, I'm sorry for that, was laying down, and then I'm just adding the days of the week on top of the calendar, and for the finishing touch I just have the goal section. Next, I am moving on to a tracker, and this one is a habits tracker, and I kept this one very minimal, so if you'd like to make one for yourself, it is extremely easy to make. Also, if you can hear any noises, my dog is barking. I'm really sorry for that, but basically I just have the like little sections that I'm making here, and I have one for each habit, and I have 9 habits, and basically I have a two dot grid spaces tall section, and then the blank box on the side is 5 dot grid, and that is for putting the habit, and then the rest of it is 16 dot grid spaces long, and it is separated into each little square to have technically 32 squares in total, but that's enough to have all 31 days of the month plus 1. So you basically have a square to have to color every single day of the month. You can also just add all the numbers inside of each square. I personally didn't do it because it takes a lot of time, and I found it easier to just count if I don't know in what day I'm at. Or if you would prefer, you can also add every 5 days the number, so you can still keep track of which day it is in the line, but it's less complicated. And then I'm just adding the fruit cow for this one, and it is a watermelon one, and for the color scheme I mostly have it in all pink with some accent of green, and it's actually the only one that I did with a dual color scheme. And here I'm finishing to color all of the different fruits that I had around, and unfortunately I lost the footage of writing the title, but I basically did simple calligraphy with the Tombow dual brush markers to write habits, and then used the Uniball pen to write tracker underneath it, and kept everything pretty simple. And now we are moving on to the mood tracker, which I'm really excited to share. I love how this one turned out. It is basically an all yellow spread because I used the pineapple cow doodle for this one, and I started with having the fruit cow in the middle, and my idea for this page was to have the cow being in the center, and then all around it have blank spots with just the outline to then have for one day of the month, and each spot can be colored each day for adding the moods. So in the end, at the end of the month, you basically have like an all colored in page with all different colors of spots. That was kind of the idea behind it. and I had a lot of fun with this pineapple cow because it looks super cute with the light pink and the yellow together. And then I basically just added all the spots. And to complete the page, I just have the key in the right corner, and then I numbered all of these spots before I made the title, which I wrote in brown, which I didn't know which color to use, but I figured that the brown and the yellow would work together. And then I just made a yellow box underneath the mood calligraphy to add tracker, and that is basically it for this page. And now for the very last tracker, I have a sleep tracker, and this page is really simple. There's nothing crazy about it. I just have a box that fills in most of the page. It is as wide as the page, and it is 32 dot grid spaces tall. And then there's a 1 square border on the left side, which I colored in brown to add the days of the month, to have one for each day of the month to add my sleep next to it. And then on the right side, I have a 3 wide gap that is for the numbers of hours slept, so you don't have to count. If you want to count like how many hours and you don't just want to have the visual of the colored line, then you can also have that. And since I already had the 2 other fruit for the other 2 trackers, which were the watermelon one and the pineapple one, for this one I used the kiwi one with a laying cow on top of the tracker, since I needed something really small to fit at the top of the page. And then for the actual title, I just did 3 spots in green, and I just wrote sleep inside of those spots and tracker, and basically kept the whole page really simple. And then you just have the space on the top line to write the hours, and you can just use the page to write down how many hours and from when to when you want to sleep. For this next page, I'm kind of switching things up and moving into a more diary style page, which is a page that I always have in my plan with me's, just because I really like it. It is a gratitude log, and for this one it is 31 dot grid spaces tall. I just have them numbered on the left side of the page with a line going down next to the numbers, and then I just used a yellow marker to draw out and mark off like 1 out of 2 lines, like always skipping a line, so that it's easier to write and to like separate each day when you're writing. It's basically a diary page where each day you have a line to talk about something that you are grateful for. You could also use it just as a diary and write 1 sentence about your day, or maybe anything really. You can use it for basically anything. And then I just added a little pineapple cow at the top, and I used kind of the same style as I did for the mood tracker and used the brown for the title, but overall I just kept the page really simple. I also added a couple of pineapple doodles with little chunks, and I used the double yellows for having the trick of having the center being slightly lighter. And finally, for my very last page of this setup, I have the weekly spread for this month, and I actually used a layout that I used previously but just rearranged it kind of. Basically, I have a box for each day of the week. I have 7 of them. They are all 11 by 11 dot grid spaces, and then there's a header that is 7 by 2 dot grid spaces that is centered, and that is one on top of the one dot grid spaces on top of the boxes, if that makes sense. And then in between each boxes on the left page, they are 2 dot grid spaces in between each column, and then on top of each other they have 1 dot grid spaces. And then I have a event section, which is 12 by 22 dot grid spaces, and that is basically just to keep the events separate from the actual to-do list from the day that you can add in the daily sections. And then I just decorated the rest of the page just to make it more fun. I have a fruit cow, which is a watermelon one on the left page, and then a kiwi one on the right side. And I just basically drew all of them, added all of the details, and I also added some fruits around just to decorate it and to add a little bit more details and just to make it a little bit more fun. And then finally, once I was done with all of the doodles, I added the name of the days of the week inside of the headers for each daily section in green, and then in pink I did the event section before adding on a mini calendar on the left page, and obviously the title, which is basically just writing August at the top of the page just so that it's clear which month the weekly spread is a part of. And that is basically it for this video. I am so happy with how everything turned out and how all of the pages looked. I'm really excited to be able to share these. I love this theme so much. I had so much fun with it. It's been a little while since I've been a little bit more creative with a theme and just not use a more generic theme. So I hope you enjoyed it and that you found some inspiration in these pages. If you'd like to get them for yourself, please check out the link in my description box down below, and also check out my Patreon if you'd like to join and help support my channel. It always means the world to me. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the post notification bell to get notified whenever I upload next. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!